Hi, my name is Armani Taylor, and today we'll be talking about phone-based childhood and alienation. Phone-based childhood refers to a generation of kids or children whose early social experiences in entertainment and daily routines were significantly shaped by access to mobile phones. Alienation is the feeling of being isolated, disconnected, or estranged from people, society, or even yourself. Now, I know I must sound like a Karen or someone's aunt that's whining about kids on social media nowadays. But this issue is actually attacking our nation's future. Children nowadays use phones or technology as their character or childhood development. So instead of playing outside on the playground or playing tag in the dirt, they are on social media consuming everything that they're not supposed to see. Kids today grow up glued to their screens instead of playing outside, calling friends on a house phone, or passing notes in class, doing everyday children things. They're connected online 24/7, but somehow they still feel disconnected in real life. According to Psychology Today, alienation starts around from 9 to 13 years in age. Now, I know you're asking, how does phone-based childhood and alienation coincide together? Well, if you think of it as a team in this, you would see how instead of deep friendships and face-to-face conversations, it's constantly scrolling, comparing yourselves to fake perfect lives on Instagram or TikTok, or seeing a lady shake her butt on TikTok. Children and young children have consumed so much of that even when you're surrounded by people, they might feel alone still, because your mind is trapped in a feed, not the moment. That is an example of alienation, feeling emotionally or socially cut off, even if you're connected. Even if you're around a bunch of people, a room full of people, you still feel alone. According to the National Library of Medicine, social isolation, loneliness, and mobile phone dependence among adolescents during the COVID-19 pandemic were at an all-time high. Of course, when we dispersed from school, we were forced to be online, so there was less interactions. But even after even after COVID-19 was over, it was hard for children and kids to reconcile and communicate with each other once again. They became socially awkward. They became glued to their phones more. They became dependent on technology. Another example that I can talk about is Riley's character from the movie Inside Out. Now, the first Inside Out movie that came out, they mostly talked about puberty. They didn't speak on phones too much, but she was definitely already feeling alienated because of her big move from one city to another, leaving her friends, her family, and her old life behind. But as we get into Inside Out 2, it brings more alienation and even a new emotion named ennui. Ennui depicts boredom, which he always holds a phone. Why? To symbolize her detachment and how she feels alone. The phone symbolizes temporary distraction of her problems that she went through, numbing the feelings of boredom and loneliness. Riley has problems at home and at school. She uses her phone as a distraction to temporarily ease her pain, but all it does is alienate her from reality more and more. A quote from Marxist analysis states, "But in addition to the false consciousness, alienation may be said to be unconscious, in that people do not recognize that they are, in fact, alienated. One reason for this may be that alienation is so pervasive that it is invisible and hard to take hold of." This is exactly what we witnessed in Riley's character from the movie Inside Out 2. The entire movie was about her struggling to come back to reality from her alienated space in which she found comfort in. But I have to disagree with Marxist analysis. According to the Free Press, Jonathan Haidt, Smartphone Rewired Childhood, Here's How to Fix It, states that phones have been made kids anxious and depressed, but says that authors and psychologists, we can fix it. It's reversible damage. And take time to enjoy nature. They can take time to play outside, play on playgrounds, get dirty, play in dirt, do the things that make children. Parents can also limit their social media intake. which means they can even confiscate the phone. Limiting children to phones can also open their imagination, want them to explore more. They'll want to go outside, so it won't be a forceful thing. But from all the sources that I mentioned today, I do have an opposing opinion to some of their views. Even though phone-based childhood alienation help explain how kids today might feel disconnected, they don't tell the full story or the whole truth. Not all phone-based experiences are negative ones. Some kids gain a lot of benefits from using technology and being online. This includes building strong communities, making friendships, or even feeling less alone. A lot of these sources also don't shed a lot of light on the things that can also affect a child and their alienation. Moral of the story is, it's not just phones that can make kids feel isolated. Their community and environment, both at home and in school, can also play a part. Now, although these sources do shed light on some of the key issues of these two concepts, which are kids growing up with constant screen exposure but often lack real-life emotional connections. Also, how it shows how social media and early phone use might be shaping how kids understand friendship, identity, and even self-worth. Or even there's a pressure to stay connected online while feeling lonely or unseen in real life. We must remember the good that it's done us during COVID. This is an example to many of the benefits that were given to us from technology. So to all the parents who complain to their children about being on the phone too much, also remember about all the good that it's done us and what we would do if we didn't have it. But this is also a friendly reminder. Take them phones and take them iPads. Thank you for listening.